All right, welcome to this week's Traveling on Everyday Spend Points and Miles report. It's a happy new year, and I hope everyone has enjoyed the new year coming in. Want to give a thanks to each and every person that has watched, liked, subscribed, shared these videos. It's a new year for me, but it's been about 7 months in the making, and none of this would have been even to where I'm at without you. And even if you've not subscribed to the channel, I hope to earn your subscription this year. So outside of that, let's go ahead and just jump right on into what we have for today. So as far as when we're looking at credit card intro bonus offers, not as many as we've normally have been seeing. Obviously, with the new year, I think that has a big part to play in it. American Express, we don't really have any new credit card offers for the new year as of yet, but I'm expecting that we're going to see some coming up in the next week or so. Chase, we do have a few changes. For Chase, we've had the Freedom Unlimited with a bonus, but we now also have the Freedom Flex with a $200 bonus for $500 worth of spend in the first 3 months. Now, I did look at the in private and incognito modes, and I didn't see a different version of that bonus as we've talked about before, where I've seen 5% on groceries and such. But if you're interested, that $200 bonus is a nice sweetener for $500 worth of spend. We still have the United Gateway, the United credit card offers that are still going on, as we've talked about before, and that is across the board. As far as additional credit cards, we also have Bank of America. I should touch on that. Both the personal and the business version of the Alaska Airlines credit card. Both of them are going to have that companion fare as part of the intro bonus. On the personal, it's 70,000 points with the companion fare for $3,000 worth of spend in the first 90 days at a $95 annual fee. And then for the business, we also have the $95 annual fee and with a $4,000 amount of spend in the first 90 days. So if you've been looking at them, that may be a choice to make. And also keep in mind that when we're talking about that personal Alaska credit card, if you are tied in with Built Rewards, you do have the option of being able to use your Alaska credit card for rent, paying the processing fee, or not using the credit card for that and using Built and not doing the processing fee. So you have a lot of different flexibility options if you're looking to accumulate Alaska miles. So keep that in mind. As far as additional Chase, we also have the World of Hyatt credit cards, both personal and business. Now, the personal one, there's different levels to it, so let's touch on that a bit. For $3,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months, you get 35,000 points. But in order to earn that 65,000 points that you're going to see a lot about, there's a lot more to it. For the additional 30,000 points, you're going to need to have basically up to a $15,000 worth of spend in the first 6 months while earning an additional 2 bonus points per dollar. So it's really not a welcome bonus. You are going to spend to get those additional 30,000 points, even if it is accelerated. So that is not necessarily the greatest deal you're ever going to find for the personal card, which I love it. Love getting the one category 1 to 4 certificate each year, but that is not a true 65,000 point welcome bonus. Now that is listed to be available through March 6th of this year. You now also have the World of Hyatt business credit card at $195 annual fee. Now this one does have 60,000 points for $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. And you can also get an additional category 1 through 4 certificate for $15,000 worth of spend in the first 6 months. That card, while is one that I would say is really more for someone that is going to be looking to really try to get to status because of the elite nights at level that you're going to get with having each of those cards. I don't have the business card. I just have not seen enough in it to warrant it. But if you see a spending pathway that will be able to help you get to those nights and all, it may be something for you. And then as far as city, we still have the same ones that we've looked at before with the Strata Premier, as well as the Business Platinum Advantage and the City Double Cash with the $200 cash back on $1,500 worth of spend in the 6 months. So we'll hopefully see some more with that as we move forward early this year. And I want to say thanks to John R. for stopping through. Appreciate you stopping through. Excellent channel, growing, starting to do live streams that are doing really well. Glad to be back. And it was an amazing trip to Australia. Spent 10 days there. Really was something to understand and kind of revitalize the fact of that everybody really needs to know about points and miles. And whether you're trying to do a big bucket list trip or you're just trying to be able to get a large family in economy or premium economy to see the grandparents, that your everyday spend can get you to those things and to really just make your life even better. So it was really good to be able to do that, and appreciate you stopping through. And Matt, thanks for stopping in too. Matt does an excellent job, does a lot of tidbits of daily reporting of different news items, as well as some different long form videos, but an excellent creator, and I appreciate both of them stopping through tonight. As far as transfer bonuses, we really don't have much. We really just have the leftover of Chase through January 15th, 20% for Air Canada. But if you do have, if you are an Aeroplan card holder, you can receive an additional 10% discount. There is a 25,000 mile cap each year, but that might be something to help sweeten things. Air France KLM, 20%, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. And then IHG, 70%. None of these are groundbreaking, but once again, as I normally talk about, they're sweeteners for basically if you're already looking to do a points or miles transfer. And then let's talk about the points and miles opportunities, because there are a lot of those to touch on. First, let's talk about Avianca. They have up to 160% bonus on points purchasing. Now, this will apparently vary for each person. Not everybody's guaranteed this 160%. They call it a mystery. And if you've ever been on the live stream before, 9 times out of 10, I never get the best offer. This case, I actually did have the 160% bonus option. Now, this is going to run through January 31st till 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. With just 1,000 miles purchased, you'll get 120%. 2,000 to 15,000 points, you'll get 140% bonus. 16,000 to 35,000, you'll get 150% bonus. And then 36,000 to 200,000 points, you'll get that full 160% bonus, which will really bring down that cents per point down to just 1.27 cents per point, which is an excellent value. But once again, we do see these very high bonus purchase arrangements with Avianca throughout the year. So it's not something to necessarily drop everything that you're doing and buy points on speculation. But if you do have some plans for Avianca Life Miles, which is extremely flexible through all of the Star Alliance partners, it may be something to look at. Accor Live Limitless, we've had those for a bit, but they're still ongoing as far as different promotions for them, for both the Fairmont Hotel as well as some other hotels worldwide. And then being able to use your app for a 20% discount when you're booking your stay through June 30th of 2025. We still also have the Accor and Qatar combining, where you're getting 2x on the Avios on Accor stays and 2x all points on Qatar flights. That still exists. I'll have a link for that in the description. Now, as far as Alaska Airlines, now there are a couple of sales that end either tonight or tomorrow that I do want to bring your attention to. Alaska Airlines has a winter sale that actually ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There is no promo code that is needed. The travel needs to be between today and March 19th, and it starts at $39 or 4,000 miles each way. So I will have a link for the landing page so that you can find out more about it and see if there's something that works for you with Alaska Airlines during that period. We also have Breeze Airways, which is saving up to 40%. Now, this one is booking by tomorrow, January 10th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. The discount is eligible for travel from January 14th through September 2nd. You will need to use the promo code of lock in at checkout. They do have blackout dates during the July 4th period, July 5th through July 7th. So if you're a person of Breeze Airways, which goes to some of the medium to smaller size airports, that may be a good option for you to look at as well. Emirates, we have a 2x points on all routes and fare classes. Now, registration is required. I'll have a link for that in the description. Now, this is going to apply to both Emirates as well as FlyDubai. And FlyDubai is the low-cost sibling that Emirates has, and it's going to apply once again on all routes and fare classes for both of those airlines. It is valid for flights from January 15th through March 23rd at 2:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Award tickets are excluded. So for this one, this is really more going to be a case where if you already have a planned flight with Emirates or FlyDubai, it's a nice sweetener, not necessarily something you're changing your plans to be able to do to just get the double points. IHG has a 15% award discount. Now, there's a list of eligible properties that this applies to. I'll have a link for that in the description as well. Book and stay by March 31st. And these blocks, they have blocks of time for eligible hotels, one block through January 31st, the second through February 28th, and then the third through March 31st. Now, there's no discount codes. As long as you are booking that particular hotel during that window, you will get the discount on your award points. IHG also has something where it's when you can save 20% when you pay with Visa. Now, this 20% off is off of the best flexible rate and is good for the entire year of 2025. And it is available at all hotels worldwide and with no blackout dates. Now, you do have to book by December 31st of 2025 and stay by January 3rd of 2026. Bookings have to be made at least 7 days in advance, and bookings must include at least one night that is between Thursday and through Sunday. So if you're not able to find some good deals normally through IHG, this may be something to just be able to get something back for having a Visa credit card. And it's not talking about having an IHG credit card. JetBlue has a winter sale that ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 14th. Now, this is on cash or points. You need to travel between January 11th and through April 9th. Fridays and Saturday travel are not included in this, and you've got a blackout period from February 13th through February 24th. Now, as you may know, when we're talking about JetBlue points, these are fixed level points, so it's going to depend on the dollar amount. You may, if you're looking at paying through points, if you have Chase, you may want to look, if you have a Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, you may want to look at that as being an option to book through the Chase portal for this deal. And you're then getting a guaranteed 1.25 cents per point if you have the Preferred, and 1.5 cents per point when it comes to the Sapphire Reserve. That may end up giving you a better deal if you're going to be doing points with this. So something to take a look at. And then as far as the Marriott, we have what's Eat Around Town. You can earn up to 6x bonus Bonvoy points per dollar, and that is through February 28th. Registration is required, and this is for a group of restaurants, as we probably have seen with a lot of places, whether it's Resi with American Express, or you have Chase that has their restaurant kind of portal. This is to me, an introduction of Marriott's portal for certain restaurants. Now, that 6x, that is the maximum, is if you have elite status, or you would get 4x if you don't have elite status. Now, if you're new to this portal, you can earn up to 6,000 bonus points by just enrolling and completing 3 qualifying dines. Now, the qualifying dine is at least $30, but that can include your tax and tip, which can make that a very good low-priced amount to be able to work your way for that 6,000 points. You do have to do this within 60 days of joining, and you do need to complete a review within 30 days on one of the places that you attended. Now, you can also stack these points that you're earning by either having it for a non-fixed one, such as using your Capital One Saver card for restaurants, using your American Express Gold card towards that. Those can be able to get you those points on top of the Marriott Bonvoy points and let you earn those flexible points. You can also look at, if you wanted to really double down on Bonvoy points, is use a Bonvoy credit card, such as the Bonvoy Brilliant, which is their flagship credit card. And with that, you have a $300 annual amount for dining as a credit. So this could be an option to be able to generate a lot of points, both with Bonvoy as well as with Capital One or American Express or Chase, because those you have ones that you can double up on. Once again, I'll have a link for the registration in the description. For Marriott, we also have double Bonvoy points on homes and villas stays. Registration, once again, required. You have to book by February 13th. Now, the rental of this has to be at least 3 nights or more at the same property, and it requires a minimum of $1,500 spend. So this is going through the home and villas is not some low-priced Airbnb kind of situation. They are normally higher level homes and villas that are obviously going to cost. So $1,500 is not going to be hard, even on a 3-night stay for some of those locations. So if you are looking at that, maybe something to take a look at. We also have 20,000 Marriott points on your Vacations by Marriott. So if you book a minimum 4-night stay by January 31st of 2025 and complete your travel by June 30th of 2025, you'll be able to get those 20,000 points. Now, the Vacations by Marriott is very simply what we've seen with a lot of different other hotels and airlines, where you're basically packaging a round-trip airfare with the lodging to be able to put together a vacation package. And that is what's required to be able to get to those 20,000 points. United Airlines, if you have a United co-branded card, I hope you've actually been aware and been paying attention to their mystery destination promo. They have a link where if you have a co-branded credit card, each day for 24 hours, they've had a deal on a flight to a particular location. So today it is Munich, 25,000 miles one way, with the taxes and fees starting at about $140 round trip. Now, the travel obviously does have a particular period of time, and that does end at midnight tonight. And then they're going to have a new location after midnight, and that will be the last one, because this runs through January 10th for this. So if you have a co-branded credit card, make sure to, if you've been interested in potentially going to Munich, take a look at that. And even if not, make sure to check the link for what there is tomorrow for the last day of this promotion. Outside of that, we do have some Wyndham deals that we've had for a bit, as far as double Wyndham reward points on certain select hotels. We also have that staying 2 nights, get 1 night free at 7,500 points. You can use that up to 15,000 points. The Hyatt Vacation Club, earning 3,000 World of Hyatt points for each night, up to 30,000 if you're staying at a Hyatt Vacation Club location. Registration is required, though. So those are the things that we have for that. I did want to hit with a few quick notes of items that I saw that I want to touch on to make sure you're aware of. So the Venetian Resort at Las Vegas, we've talked about this, that World of Hyatt had basically finally got another hotel under it was going to have another hotel under its umbrella, in addition to the Rio, which is being which was being remodeled, obviously after losing the deal with MGM. That now begins today as far as being able to book going through the world of Hyatt. Now, when we're talking about the Venetian resort, that includes both the Venetian and the slightly fancier Palazzo. Once again, first day to be able to use it. So if you have interest in it, make sure to take a look because that is now available on Hyatt. And let me hit on a couple of other additional notes. Filmo, yep, back from the land down under. The trip was amazing. From everything from the flight to the 10-day stay there. And it still didn't seem like it was enough time to really even get to see the biggest things in Sydney, let alone anywhere else. But truly a blessing, totally an example of what points and miles can do, because there's no way I would have done this trip without the points and miles. There's just no way I would have been in a position to spend that kind of money of what it cost. So thanks for asking about it. I wish Breeze had a transfer partner set up. The card is a touch weak. It is. Unfortunately, we're obviously not hearing anything about a transfer partner. And because I don't think we're probably going to see one, I'm hoping that maybe we get some other kind of credit card that kind of comes through that kind of picks up maybe some of these smaller regional and airlines. Breeze is expanding, so maybe that will help us get to a point where we can be able to use some points for this. But obviously, as you know, probably not a lot of money to be made in it, but it would be nice if somebody could just kind of slip that in as an additional option. Can't you call Wells, Matt? Yeah, maybe Matt needs to be able to make that phone call to Wells. Let's see. Evening, sir. Thanks for Ian. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Always really happy to be able to get on live. It's been a bit of time, so thanks you for stopping through. Let's see. Matt said they blocked his number. Too many calls. Too many calls, Matt. Let's see. John, what's going on? Yep. And the Venetian and Palazzo point stays are crazy. Yeah, I hadn't seen what the number is yet for them, and if it's going to be dynamic. That was my other concern. I saw that it was supposed to be live, but the last time I looked, which was a few hours ago, it wasn't. I didn't see that it was live, but I know it's supposed to be. So, yeah, but they Hyatt had to do something, and so that's hopefully they can whittle it down to something that is more useful for us. And let me also touch on the Delta status match. Now, the status match that's really good for Delta is because it's going to run, if you do the match, run all the way through for all of 25, all of 2026, and through January of 2027. Obviously, when we normally see these status matches, you normally only see them for a year. So being able to get this for longer, especially if you already have status with one of the other major airlines, is going to be a great touch. Now, you do need to request the status match. I'll have a link for the landings for you to be able to get all the information of the different airlines and what their status match actually entails. And then number two, you'll have that match for 3 months. And during those 3 months, you get that time to earn enough MQDs during that 3-month period to determine what you will have for that 2+ year period. So that may be something to look at. Loganair is not something I had heard of before, but it's yet another airline that is transitioning to Avios currency. Loganair is the UK's largest regional airline. They have 32 passenger aircraft, but they serve 1.5 million passengers annually across 70 different routes. We don't know what date they're going to officially transfer over to doing Avios, but we've seen this happen with different other airlines that are really kind of jumping into this Avios brand, which is obviously going to make it better for us to be able to earn those Avios and be able to use them across multiple lines. One of the interesting things about Loganair is they do various remote routes, and they actually have the world's shortest commercial flight between Westray and Papa Westray. It is 1.7 miles and is a 2-minute flight. Very interesting for that. So once again, anything we can do to continue to expand our options is always going to work out great for us. Let's touch on US Bank. Effective April 14th of 2025, the US Bank Altitude Go with that 4X on dining will now be capped at $2,000 per quarter. That was previously uncapped. Now, probably while it doesn't sound good, and it isn't, but for most people, you're still going to have $667 per month to be able to still use even under this cap. So as long as you're not dining more than that, this really does not impact you negatively, but it is something to be able to take note of. This other part is that points will now expire with US Bank, but only when you don't end up accumulating any more points through rewards or purchase or balance activity for 12 consecutive statement cycles. And so if you're in that ecosystem, that is highly unlikely that would happen to you. So once again, on the surface, doesn't sound good, but probably in practice, for most people, it won't be a negative. The next item is Vacasa is merging with Casago. Now, Vacasa, I've talked a lot about as far as Wyndham reward points and being able to use Vacasa for different homes because they end up you can use your Wyndham points to pay based upon the bedroom rate. So this is supposed to occur in the Q2 of 2025. Now, Casago has only less than 5,000 properties with a larger footprint in Mexico and the Caribbean. Now, when you compare that to Vacasa, Vacasa has over 44,000 properties. So the expectation would end up being is that this move does not necessarily change Vacasa utilizing Wyndham reward points for stays versus if it was a larger brand, then there may be more of a concern for that. But that is not one I think we need to worry about. And so as a reminder, if you were using your going through Vacasa and using your Wyndham points, for a bedroom that's up to $250 per night, it would only cost you 15,000 points. And then $250.01 to $500 would be 30,000 points per night per bedroom. Anything that's over $500 per bedroom night is not going to be something that's eligible for using Wyndham reward points. And the last thing for our quick notes tonight, the new Honolulu Hawaiian Lounge. Now, we've talked about the fact that Alaska was going to end up expanding and doing something with the lounge there at the Honolulu airport. The question really was more of where would they put it and how big could they really make it? Well, we are unfortunately going to have to wait till 2027. And it's going to be located near the entrance of the Maka Concourse in Terminal 1. Now, this will be 5 times larger than the current lounge, so 15,000 square feet versus 3,000 square feet. And if you've been there before, and I've not had the pleasure of being there, but we definitely have read a lot about the Plumeria Lounge is supposed to be the Hawaiian Airlines flagship, but unfortunately, it's not that nice of a lounge, and it is open to priority pass, so there's no exclusivity involved. And then you have something, if you really want exclusivity, is Apartment 1929 Lounge, which is uber premium, and the cost per couple starts at $500. So being able to expand is even up to 15,000 square feet, which may seem small to a lot of other mainland lounges, this is still a major move to be done with them. And unfortunately, while it's going to take till 2027 to get it, at least they are putting that, getting that started. So definitely something to be able to take a look at if you're going to be heading to Honolulu. And I want to say thanks for stopping through to call me Lonnie, another excellent content creator, definitely a person that has a wide breadth of knowledge on a lot of different topics, especially on United as well. So thanks for stopping through, really appreciate it. And so let's now move on to some of the news topics that we have for today. So let's actually start with United. So United, talking about their free Starlink Wi-Fi and about it coming soon. Now, back in September, United announced that they were going to have free Wi-Fi that would be offered through Starlink. Well, earlier this week, United announced that it will start installation in the coming weeks. Now, they'll begin with those two cabin regional fleet, those Bombardiers, as well as the Embraers ones that are just two class planes. Now, this is excellent news. We're finally getting to the point where Wi-Fi should be accessible and free for passengers, and even if you just have to be a member of their loyalty program. Now, while this is an early start date to begin the installation, we do not have a timetable of when they're going to complete this, and let alone getting to the larger planes. Now, for years, if you've flown any of United, they've had issues with their Wi-Fi being available because of it being subpar. And they've kind of hodgepodge different Wi-Fi networks on different planes. And so with this regional feed, they're going to start with basically what is viewed as their worst Wi-Fi, which is GoGo. So something to be able to look at, especially if you're doing regional flights, probably in the next few months. But if you're taking the larger airlines, it's probably going to be a lot longer before you get to see that happening. And then we've got the Ritz Carlton is now in Bangkok. So it is now open, and it is at One Bangkok. And One Bangkok, if you look at a picture of it, is basically various skyscrapers, shops, restaurants, public spaces, and more. But what they basically say that One Bangkok is supposed to aspire to be is the heart of Bangkok in Bangkok. Now, the Ritz-Carlton will have 260 rooms and suites. The rooms will have floor-to-ceiling windows, and many have terraces. There will be a Ritz-Carlton Club that will also be there that will provide 5 different culinary presentations, as they call it, per day. Now, if you're not familiar with Bangkok, you may not know that there is becoming quite a few luxury hotel offerings. Before Ritz-Carlton, you did have a couple of them that you could do with points. The Standard is kind of a newer one where you can use Hyatt points there. And then, of course, you have the St. Regis there with Bonvoy points, as well as some other ones. The restaurants, they're going to have a French restaurant, Duet, as well as Lily's, which is going to be Thai. They have a spa, 2 swimming pools, which one just for the kids. And as far as the rates, they're starting at $411 a night, or 52,000 points. So something to be able to look at if you're looking at Bangkok for that. So let's move on from there. Let's talk about more United. So the Chicago Polaris is closed. So the question is, well, what now? Well, it is for a positive reason. So they actually closed the Polaris Lounge last week. The lounge is expected to be closed for a few months, but that lounge will be the first Polaris Lounge and was opened in 2016. It's just over 16,000 square feet, but they're going to now expand that lounge, and they're going to have more seats, including relaxing, what they call premium spaces, more restrooms, as well as private seating and workspaces. Now, once this expansion is completed, the lounge will get to 25,000 square feet. So you're increasing it by more than 50%. Now, of course, the problem is, in the meantime, if you are a United Club, you'll have to use the United Clubs if you're going through Chicago. And if you're at a United Club and you show that you are a Polaris person, you will have access to premium beverages for just Polaris guests. Now, there are currently 5 other Polaris lounges within their network, which is Houston, LAX, Newark, San Francisco, and LAX. Sorry, I already said LAX. In the coming years, they will be doing a new one for Denver and also doing an expansion in Newark. So the few months that Polaris will be down, but definitely will create a better environment. You just have to be able to get through these few months. So now we move from them, but now we got to talk about Houston United Club is closing. So why are they closing? So this is for the United Club in Terminal B, and they're going to close effective next week, January 15th. Now, the closure is to make for a new, bigger club that once completed, it will be the largest United club in the entire network. Now, this lounge, though, unfortunately, is not going to open until 2026. Now, United is expecting to be proactive in communicating options during the closure to club members as well as travelers that have itineraries or schedules that are lounge eligible. Now, United is currently recommending the use of the lounge in Terminal C near Gate 33 because there is still only limited options there for that period of time. Now, this anticipated new club has been known about all the way back since 2023, but this is the first time we've heard anything about a construction schedule being done with this. Now, currently the largest United club in the network is in Denver, and it is 35,000 square feet and seats 600. While this is good news, like I said, it's going to be a long year for Flyers as far as using the United clubs going through Terminal B because there are no other United clubs in Terminal B. Terminal C that they're talking about going to, that is an approximate 20-minute walk to go from B to C. And while they have a newer United club at Gate C1, the problem is it's not that big and it reaches capacity very quickly. So that's why they're recommending the United Club in Gate 33. So if you are going through Houston and utilize the United clubs, be prepared for what would be needed if you want to be able to utilize the lounge. Now let's talk about Delta. Now I am obviously a huge fan of Delta, and during my trips I've had opportunity to fly American and Delta as I was going back and forth. To American's credit, I was pretty impressed with the service and as well as the food that they were offering. So that was a positive, but I'm still a lover of Delta, and I love what they're talking about that they're doing. So this is at regards to information that we've now gained from Delta at CES that is going on here. Now, first item is we know that Lyft is going to be out and Uber is going to be in as far as their partnership. And that's mainly because they know that more than 15% of Uber rides are involving going to and from the airport, and they really want to capture that market. So linking your Uber to your SkyMiles account will allow you to get 3x SkyMiles if you're taking an Uber Reserve to and from the airport, 2x per dollar if you're taking a premium ride to and from the airport, and then 1x per dollar if you're taking an Uber X ride to and from the airport, or even if you're doing an eligible restaurant or grocery store purchase or delivery. Now, Delta's partnership with Lyft will end on April 7th, so you still have that to be able to utilize that partnership through the 7th. The second item is a Joby partnership. So Delta and Joby are awaiting regulatory approval to begin offering electric air taxis. Now, this taxi service is only going to be for people related to LAX, as well as JFK and LaGuardia in New York. Now, Delta says that the price will be comparable to a premium rideshare option. Now, the aircraft, and I'll have a link for this landing page for Delta as well as and Joby's partnership, and they have video of this aircraft for it. It can seat up to 4 people, and it is flown at a speed of about 200 miles per hour. And they have these vertiports, as they call it for Joby, near these two airports. So it's an interesting thing. Obviously, we've seen a lot about Blade for the helicopters in different parts, whether in New York or we've got one in Europe that's being talked about. But this could be a very interesting partnership with these are piloted planes. So while it's an electric air taxi, they do have pilots. The other thing that I thought was very good about what we learned is an in-flight entertainment upgrade. So one of the things I love about Delta is being able to have those monitors in the back of the seats when you're flying, and Yes, you can have your iPad or something and sit them. I just do not like that. It's just an aggravation for me. So I really like that. Now, SkyMile members will soon have access to free YouTube Premium, YouTube Music, and personalized content while you're flying. And in 2026, they're going to upgrade to 4K HDR QLED displays with Bluetooth pairing and addition information. And they're also going to be upgrading and doing AI-powered Delta Concierge. Now, that part is not that surprising. With that, you call almost any airline, they want you to not talk to a representative. They want you to go through their AI. They want you to go through chat. But that type of entertainment improvement on a U.S. airline is a major step for something that I always already thought that they were ahead of United or American. So, so if you're a fan of Delta, you have more reason to be a fan. If not, might be something to take a peek at to see if that would be something of interest. Now, let's talk about the fact that there is going to be no more Plaza Premium for Venture X and Venture X business credit card holders. So what we're seeing with that is starting March 1st, Venture X and Venture X business card holders will lose the direct access to Plaza Premium. And notice I'm saying direct access to Plaza Premium. Now, Plaza Premium has over 250 locations worldwide. But one thing Capital One wanted to make sure everybody was aware was that most of the lounges that are in Plaza Premium can be accessed through your Priority Pass membership. Now, if you have not been used to or have gotten your Priority Pass, make sure that to know that you do have to activate that benefit. You can't just take out your card and use it while you're there of your Venture X credit card. You do need to get that. You do need to make sure that you do have that Priority Pass. So make sure that you go into your account, and it should be a very easy thing to subscribe for. You'll get a card for it, and you can also have it as a digital option. So make sure to be able to take a look at that. Now, as far as thoughts, we never want to lose benefits. But because Priority Pass has access for most, this loss is really mitigated in a lot of cases. Now, there is a couple of caveats to keep in mind. When you access Plaza Premium with your Priority Pass, you only have 2 hours prior to the flight versus 3 hours if you have a card that does have the direct Plaza Premium access or a business class ticket. And so American Express Platinum, Business Platinum does have that Plaza Premium access. So that is number one, 3 hours versus 2 hours. The other item to keep in mind is that if you're going to a Plaza Premium that normally has showers, if you're doing it through the Priority Pass, you do not have free use of those showers. Lastly, some of the Plaza Premiums in Brazil, Indonesia, and of course some other countries are not going to be part of the Priority Pass network. So make sure you take time to take a look at your lounge options to where you're going. And if Plaza Premium is one of those options, to make sure to look at that and see if you're going to be able to get in through Priority Pass. I want to say thank you very much to Mike. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to the 20. It is greatly appreciated. I can't thank you enough. And I'm happy to share the info and really enjoy doing this live stream. So thank you for taking the time to do that. That's beyond kind of you. So let's move on to the next topic. World of Hyatt. A couple of items we need to talk about them. The Under Canvas program. Now, we talked about World of Hyatt Under Canvas a while back, and what they have is a promotion where you're going to earn double elite nights when you're staying at Under Canvas. Now, this can get, if you're a person that's looking to get status with Hyatt or to get to Globalist, and if you are a person that might enjoy Under Canvas, this may be a pretty good way to be able to kind of speed up your process. Now, these are for eligible stays between now and June 16th. Registration is required and must be made by February 28th of 2025 You do have to get registered ahead of time. I'll make sure to have a link for that in the description. Now, the other couple of thoughts, under Canvas falls under Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So if you're a person that is dealing with the Brand Explorer, then that may be another option if you don't already have Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And if you're not familiar with the Brand Explorer for Hyatt, basically for each stay that you do at a different brand, you get a check mark. And once you, I believe it's 5. Once you get 5 of them, I believe, that's when you can earn a category 1 through 4 free certificate. So Hyatt Regency, Park Hyatt, various all-inclusives, they are really expanding their brand. So you could really make an excellent run on Brand Explorers to get certificates. I was able to qualify for my first certificate with my stays at the Hyatt Regency and Park Hyatt while I was gone. Now, there are a total of 14 locations of these under Canvas. And as we've talked about, this is glamping. You are camping, but it is really, really nice. And they have excellent locations, with a few of them being near national landmarks, Glacier, Grand Canyon, Great Smoky Mountains, as well as Yellowstone. Now, there will also be 2 new Find experiences. They'll have a 3-night guided hiking experience for 2 at the Yosemite National Park, and then a 3-night experience at the Columbia River Gorge. These are 2 of the newer ones, which will include stand-up paddle boarding and food and beverage credit. And keep in mind, these spending money on Find is 10x per dollar for your Hyatt points. Now we need to look at the fact that Hyatt is actually growing again, and really in the area that I really love about Hyatt. So Hyatt and Grupo Pinero, which is the owner of Bahia Principe Hotels and Resorts, announced a joint venture earlier this year, but now they've actually put pen to paper and signed for it. Now, we knew that Hyatt did a lot of expansion with their all-inclusive when they took over Apple Vacations and was able to get Dreams, Secrets, as well as a few other all-inclusive resorts. But even with that growth, they still only really have 1,300 properties. And I say only because of the fact that Marriott has 9,100 and Hilton has over 8,000. These, with Bahia Principe, you basically are going to have 23 additional resorts that adds more than 12,000 rooms. And this will all fall under the inclusive collection, which is all of Hyatt's all-inclusives. Now, they are located in Mexico, Jamaica, Spain, and the Dominican Republic under the Bahia Principe brand. They do have a 23rd location, which is also in the Dominican, but it is under Cayo Levantado Resort. Now, this joint venture is essentially a no-land deal with Hyatt. So they're not going to be involving any of the real estate. They do not have to take over any of that. With this acquisition and what they're doing, they are essentially compiling the largest and most comprehensive all-inclusive resort of any operator. And when I say largest and comprehensive, is because of the range of the all-inclusive resorts, all the way from Dreams all the way up to Zilara. So you can find a price point for almost anything that you would be looking to do. And there is so much value in all-inclusives. I am a complete fan of it. I've had the opportunity to stay at the Zilara, and would definitely be one of the trips I would do again. But on top of that, Hyatt is also in talks with Playa Hotels and Resorts to purchase them outright. Hyatt already owns almost 10% of that operator, and they are looking in discussions to take over the whole thing, which will only further increase their footprint of all-inclusive. So if you're a fan of Hyatt and being able to get the most out of those World of Hyatt points, these are all good pieces of information. Now let's move to the Flying Blue promo rewards. Now we talk about this each month. where we got Flying Blue that has this as a regular promotion for discounted redemptions for flights to Europe. For this round, the bookings must be made by January 31st. It is valid for travel until June 30th of 2025. So we've got flights to and from Europe in economy starting at 15,000, premium economy starting at 26,250, and then business 37,500 miles each way. So as far as the long haul to Europe, we're seeing that Air France economy from Miami and Phoenix. We're seeing KLM economy from Atlanta. We've got Air France premium economy from JFK and KLM premium economy from Chicago. Now, I'll have the landing page for all of this so that you can be able to go through more of this on your own to see if there's some things that you might be interested in. As far as international departures to Europe, you've got Air France economy from Beijing, Fort-de-France, Hong Kong, and Singapore, KLM economy from Aruba, Bonaire, and Shanghai, Air France premium economy from Cancun. You also have Air France business from Cayenne, and Antananarivo, which I'm not sure where that is exactly located right now, in St. Martin, as well as you've got KLM business also. Then you have the short and medium haul. This is for basically when you're already in Europe. So you've got Air France economy between Paris, Bordeaux, Helsinki, Malaga, Rome, Stuttgart, and Tbilisi. KLM economy between Amsterdam, Barcelona, Berlin, Edinburgh, and Dansk. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is we talked about that there was a 20% bonus on points transferred through Chase with Air France and KLM. So if you were already looking at something like this, you can end up being able to get even a better discount by being able to do your transfer through Chase with that 20%. Once again, a good sweetener if you're already looking at doing this. So I'll have the landing page for this for you to be able to look even further at these different options that you have. And then essentially, when we do talk about Flying Blue, we have to talk about the Lufthansa Miles and More program. And for January of 2025, these are once again bookings that you need to make by January 31st of 2025. And in this case, it is for a designated period of April 15th through March 31st. Now, there are 436 flights that are included that are going from the US to Europe. So let's just highlight a few of them. For business class, there are 97 options for a 55,000 mile round trip flight out of Chicago or Dulles and flying Swiss. You've got 121 offerings for a 40,000 mile point round trip in premium economy going through Boston, LAX, or Seattle, and that is going through Austrian or Lufthansa flights. And then lastly, you've got the economy flights for 218 of them through Boston, Dulles, JFK, Chicago, as well as Seattle for Austrian, Lufthansa, or Swiss. Things you always have to keep in mind with this, though, is flights cannot be canceled for refund. Taxes and fees are always going to be very expensive, and earning Lufthansa miles is normally difficult. But if you know this is something that's going to work out for you, and when you look at it that the taxes and fees do not get oppressive, this could be a really good deal if you can fit in that window. So those are the things that we would be looking at. And once again, I want to make sure that if you found any of this information beneficial or even a little bit funny, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. While we've gone into this new year and I've got 7 months, I think, under my belt, really want to be able to make this channel even better. And I want to ask you all to please leave comments on this video as far as what things you would like to see that I could do better or to provide better value to you. Because if I'm not providing you value, what's the point of even doing any of this? So please feel free to share, give your comments regarding this. I really want to take everything into account as I try to plan out how to make this channel the best it can be here in 2025. So I want to make sure that if anybody's got any questions or comments or thoughts that we should touch on at all, more than happy to be able to do that. But if not, I just want to thank each and every one of you all for taking the time to watch. I'll have this up shortly for the links and for everything. And thank you very much, Ian. I really appreciate you saying that. It really helps. But never hesitate to provide any feedback that could be. I look for any and all of it. But I'll have this up shortly with all the links for that and get chapters in there. But as soon as I finish this, the links will be up. Make sure to check with them out. And thank you so much. And everybody have a great day.